Hello everyone, today I'm going to be sharing a real side dream experience from my book Chronicles of a Cosmic Space Case. The PDF link for this book is below the description of this video. Dream 19. Smallest UFO in the universe. In this dream, I was accompanied by a friend from the physical, someone I've known a while in this lifetime, and I dare say lifetimes prior to that. He is not at all interested in the new presentation, but has to put up with me speaking about it and all things related, regardless if he is in my presence. Anyway, we were in an open area. Nothing very remarkable about it, but we seemed to be seeking something. The thing we sought was located. It was a crashed UFO, half embedded in the ground. There was one thing that set this UFO apart from probably the majority, and that was it was minuscule, like a little toy spaceship. Only we knew it was real. A little hatch was left open, and squinting inside as best as we were able, we saw banks of flicking lights and controls, but no sign of occupants. Seems they had departed and left the door open. My friend and I began to search for the mini occupants, and our hunt led us to a small hill with a rocky enclave, and standing in that were two tiny people, and we knew these to be the craft occupants. They looked very human, but extremely small, maybe an inch tall, I would say, and they were moving, but incredibly slowly, almost imperceptibly. communication with them was difficult, but they had some vials of strange amber liquid that they managed to impress upon us the importance of, and gave us the keeping of them. The vials were about their size, and they had been dragging them to their current position. We took the vials into our care, and this was the last we saw of the little people. They no longer featured in the dream. I wanted to reveal the vials to the world, because they seemed to contain great wisdoms or teachings somehow, despite them being just liquid seemingly. But my friend insisted we bury them, and reluctantly I did so, and we concealed them in the ground, and laid brickwork upon them. In the next scene, I was in some future setting, rather a dismal place. It was very dull, and had a very tired, washed out sense about it. And at a bar I was at, I was knocking back whiskey shots at £60 each, roughly translated as about $90, so seemed a rather expensive, dismal future. Then my friend from earlier was back, and we were around constant groups of assorted people, ranging from boring to wanting to jump off a tall building tedious, as my boredom of each one-dimensional literal group reached the maximum that I could endure, I would kind of warp from my position and pass through the building, or wherever it was this boring situation was occurring, and beyond, but only to find myself with another equally as dull group. I continued to do this for a while, and proclaimed this the most dreary planet, dimension, or life position ever recorded in the universal files. Then the dream would end. So, on reflection, I took the little people to be our personal little selves, and we as bigger people were then quite possibly the real selves. But then the vial of amber knowledge I felt was the sharings of the ears. So why was the little selves handing it over to the real selves? Perhaps the journey to the ears was too monumental for the personal selves at this moment, and they were rebuking the opportunity. Then we, the real us, were burying it. So even though the opportunity had been passed over, the seeds of it had been planted in the subconscious. It was buried in the causal body that one day perhaps might be reignited again and sparked back into life, should such an opportunity cross the path of the personal self again. Or if you flipped it on its head, you might say the little people were the real selves, and trying to get the attention of the personal selves. And why they were so large in comparison was a demonstration of the personal little self being so self-convinced that it thinks it knows better than life itself. It believes in its mind it is bigger than life itself. Either way, with the opportunity rejected, the dreary future lifetimes were waiting around the corner. More unconscious lives in a steadily deteriorating creational matrix, with boring company and expensive whiskey. But seemed I was playing with creational manipulating ability. My warp activities I was displaying. But that ethereal vehicle utilizing would have me face further cause and effect also. Maybe I was a little unduly influenced by this friend of mine, who, as I say, has little interest in anything other than satiating his carnal desires. In the recent past, I have had dreams about him, with clear warnings to not let him trespass too readily into my life. For these friendships we have, if they are not being to being, if they are associations on the physical level, then we can find that we drag each other back into future lifetimes through the emotional attachments we have with them. It's not that we abandon these individuals, but far better to encounter them in the real universes from a position of real being to being than here in the passing dream. Dwayne provides a view. Sometimes you will have experiences on the real side where you will recognize the people, and they are a lot taller than you, and they are looking down on you. And as you come back to the personal self, sometimes you will think that's their stature on the real side. They're bigger and thus more aware than I realized. But what that is many times is how you see it, and you saw this one back and forth, which is good. It doesn't matter. You have the awareness to see that, so it's all fine. Actually, many times the experience is demonstrating itself to where they are looking down on you. Again, that's the personal self. For the most part, this is how people have been indoctrinated, again a product of their environment. People have been indoctrinated to think that you go to school, you go to college, university, get your diploma, whatever, and you're the know-it-all. You now know what life is, and you've got your buddies there too. if you need them. The scientists, the techies, etc. They are always bringing up new discoveries about the rocks floating in space, etc. This is this, and this is that. So everybody is self-convinced and easy to manipulate. And so sing the new you song. Watch your dream visions, and let the whole of life and the real universal guides show you what is real now. New